and welcome to another walkthrough of the text guide with me and Mr. RGTV. Hey, buddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually going to be playing rookie this tournament, so I feel these notes are extra juicy we got for you guys today. How are you, bud?
I'm doing fine. My daughter's a little bit ill, but I'm just overly excited to be here just the day before the tournament. And as for when you are taking rookie, I'm going to take pro, expert, and master as well. These are holes that we are going to play with some snow. And for those that maybe wonder, the snow is equal as rough. So nothing special with it. I just want to say it before because there have always been coming in a couple of questions about that. These holes we have played before as well in earlier tournaments, some of them a very long time ago, and we're going to do our very best to go over them as detailed as possible. But before we start, do not forget to subscribe here to the channel. Also, jump over to RJTV as well, hit that subscribe button as well, and support the streaming community. Also, if you do want to get the text guides before everyone else, or you maybe want to have the updated text guides that are coming up during Tuesday during the tournament week, then you can find that on patreon.com/golf/Tommy. So, City Park, the festive or festive, what do we say? I need to ask you because you're American-ish. So it's
It's festive, so yes, I
festive.
love this very festive tournament we have.
Okay, then I my Swinglish learned something new today, so that's good. So the festive tournament is coming up, and I'm going to yeah, throw the ball over to you, my friend, for hole number one. How do we play that one?
All right. Well, first and foremost, we have elevation changes in these. However, it's nothing like the last tournament, so all you guys could take a nice deep breath there. To start off on hole one, we are only going to have I love saying only, a 10% adjustment, plus 10% for your rings here for those of us trying to get that hole in one here. Most people in rookie are going to have a backbone. However, if you have a Saturn, that may be even better. Both clubs, I would go with the black line. Land your target right about where that black line is. I would go full backspin and then just adjust your target up or down depending on where your ball guide meets the hole, and then make your wind adjustments from there. A marlin ball is all that's needed. Because I'm in rookie with the baby account, I know the struggle is real for premium balls, so I kept that in mind, and that's what I have for hole one. What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, for pro and expert from the second tee, we can kind of choose if we want to play white or if we want to play black line. I do believe most of the players is going to play black line when we're going to go with a lot of backspin, as you mentioned for rookie. Going to be the same for pro and expert because we're still going to play with a long iron from that position. It could be with some headwind that we are not going to have enough distance with a long iron from the second tee. Might be, then we're going to play white line. But most of the time we're going to play black line, much backspin as possible. Saturn or the Tsunami could be a possible play here. The reason I do feel like from the second tee that shot is going to be a little bit better to handle is like, sure, it's going to be a kind of inconsistent bounce some of the times due to that slopey part that we do have in the beginning, but we at least going to secure a nice and easy birdie. When it comes to 30, and then we're most likely going to play with a wind 5 ball, or at least a ball with more wind resistance that often gives us less power. And that will, if we're going to play according to the black line, we're going to in some cases be in between clubs, and that's the same for according to the white line. So if we do have tailwind, then we play according to the white line if we play from 30. If we in that case have headwind in some form, then we'll play according to the black line, a club with as much backspin as possible, and then it comes to a wood club, and white line should be a long iron. If we have crosswind, we can choose whatever we want to play with. In the end, 10% extra we need to add for the elevation, but it should be a nice and safe birdie. But it will be a pretty hard one to get an hole in one, as we need the luck of the bounce. So, oh my god, I have to drop my iPad. Hole number two, par 4, 518 yards. Need to mention it now, it's on the text guide. So, how do we play hole number two?
Hole number two, once again, let's add 10% to this. I didn't know anything about elevation a year ago, and I watched my video preparing for making these notes, and oh my God, did the elevation mess me up big time. So remember that 10% additional adjustment. I have the extra mile with about 4 top spin. We're going to be using full left spin. With this, we're going to aim on I like to aim on the left side of the fairway with some left curl as well. You know, just kind of judge it out. As rookies, we don't want to mess too much with curl because we haven't been into the game quite as long. But that'll get us up towards that second black box, maybe a little short, but right around in that area, giving us a nice direct way to get onto the green in 2, which is exactly what we want to do. So therefore, we're going to bring the big dog, and we're going to have to, we're going to land on the actual fairway and jump over the snow and the rough and the sand. And 2 top spin is what it should take. On this one, I'm sorry, guys, we're going to have to use a power 3 ball, I believe. So the cheapest one available would be a Titan, and I believe that will give us the best chance to compete on this hole.
One of the toughest par 4 in the game, and also going to be most likely the toughest hole in this tournament. And the reason why is, first, the fairway slopes left to right, and we have 8 bunkers on the fairway. I don't think there is any par 4 that has 8 bunkers on a during a regular fairway. Sure, maybe close to the green though, but like 8 bunkers in that way, it's just inviting us to jump down into the sand trap. So if we are going to have tailwind, I'm going to take that first. That goes for second and 30. Then we're going to go for the hook. And the reason we're going to go for the hook is because that is going to be the best way to clear as much of the obstacles as possible and gain enough distance that we reach most likely to the rough on top of all the bunkers. From that position, we're going to play with a rough iron with a lot of backspin, import the Machete, Amazon, 2 really good clubs with a lot of backspin. Maybe take away the Nirvana when you play, so you have the Amazon or the Machete in your bag, so you make sure that you can stay on the green. Because if we do have tailwind for the drive, we do have tailwind from the rough for a second shot. Because I remember it from the 30 when I had around 16 miles per hour in tailwind. When this hole, then we had 16 miles per hour in tailwind for the rough iron as well, and the backspin at many of the rough irons wasn't enough, and then we were just kind of like crossing our fingers, like hit and pray we're going to stay on the green for the second shot. But with any other type of wind, then we need to play conservative. We need to find the third pocket, I would say, fairway pocket on that you see just before the 4th bunker on the right. Maybe that's an easier reference. And that we do by playing just before or just when the first bunker on the left starts. We bounce there and use as much topspin as possible combined with as much left side spin. Right to left wind, we don't need curl. Straight tailwind, straight headwind, then we need to go with a tiny bit of curl to the left, so just compensate for the slope that comes down to the right. If we do have wind left to right, we need to go with 1 ball of curl to the left, so we do compensate for the push that we're going to get from the wind that coming left to right. Second shot, as RJ described, we're going to want to play with the big dog or the cataclysm, even if we have the sniper maxed out, because it's still a difference of 8 yards, and especially in headwind, crosswind, that is going to be necessary, especially if we don't get the lucky bounce, or like the I would say the lucky bounce, because sometimes we're going to get a bounce with a drive that's going to make the ball stop kind of short. Sometimes we're going to roll further. Sometimes we're going to stay where we aimed. But second shot, if we do have tailwind, half a bar of backspin, bounce before the rough and the bunker, the second bounce on just the fairway before the green. If we do have headwind, then we go with 2 bars of topspin. If we do have crosswind, we go without topspin, without backspin when approaching the pin. And also 10% extra for the first shot, but second shot, nothing, 0. Just very, very important to go with nothing there. So then we do have hole number 2. So we go over to hole number 3. I hope for some tailwind here, but I guess for rookie, it doesn't really matter what type of wind we have here, right?
I would tend to agree. For a few of you guys out there who, you know, have higher level big topper, you might be able to with a decent amount of back top spin. I'm sorry, wind at our back going to the front. But honestly, you guys probably belong in pro or higher. But for us rookies, for everyone in rookie, I would say first of all, hole number 3. Once again, what do we say? 10%. That's right, 10% add. I like personally going with, if you have it, the quarterback. If you don't, the rocket. And it's because we're basically, if we have an extra mile or anything else, we're going to play up. We're going to lay up before the sand. And I just like the ball guides and the accuracy a little bit better of those clubs. Now, because we are using those clubs, I'd probably go with if you have a quarterback, a navigator. If you have a rocket, you're probably going to need a power 2 ball. And for our second shot, we're going to get as close to the sand as we are comfortable getting. We do not want to go into the sand. So whether you land where the black box is, or stop rolling where the black box is, or if you stop rolling where the white box is, whatever you feel safe with. Then also keep that big dog handy and aim to the right side of that rough hill that you see. It's kind of hard to show, but
I zoom in.
Right.
I zoom in.
You zoom in. Thank you very much. If we land on the right side of that, near the rough, it's like a big hill. The top of the hill, the white is covered, but then there's fairway on the side that's still kind of sloping down that can cause your ball to zing off to the right side. So to counteract that, I want to go with full left spin and about 1/2 of a ball of left curl to ensure we stay on the fairway, and hopefully the ball will land somewhere where that black box is above where that white hill is, giving us a nice shot with either a short iron or a wedge onto the green. And once again, I'm not going to name specific clubs because rookies, whatever has the most backspin is what I would bring for that third shot that we're going to take. The only way we get on the green in 2 is if we can somehow get over that sand, and I don't think many rookies are going to have that ability. What do you think there, Tommy?
No, I agree totally, and that's going to be basically the same for pro, expert, and also master. If we do have crosswind or headwind to start with, we should be playing it exactly as RJ now described it in rookie. We lay up, second shot out to the next fairway, try to gain as much distance as possible. Second shot, try to use the back of the green to let the ball fall in for a nice little eagle. This is going to be a general birdie hole, even in tailwind, but and that's the but if we do have tailwind, and I would say mostly for expert and master, because in pro the wind is not going to be that high. So I would like to have at least 7 miles per hour with a power 5 ball. That's going to be also on the edge if it's going to be enough. And that, now I'm talking straight tailwind. And to first start a little bit quick with pro, that you do need to have a driver with a good amount of topspin, like Apocalypse 5, Thorhammer 6, those clubs that you might not have because you should be playing expert with those clubs, almost at least. But then you can try to clear the rough. You will not bounce directly over the rough. You will have to rely on that the ball is going to roll through the rough. But it's worth the gamble if we do have that wind, and also if we do have the power 5 ball, Berserker, Snow Globe ball, Turbo ball, yeah, all of those. A Ghost ball, I think that's called as well. Because for the second shot, if we get into the rough, we will still be having enough distance with our rough iron to reach to the second black, like the third black marker, as you can see here on the screen. In expert and in master, we're most likely going to have more wind. If we do have more than 11 miles per hour with a Berserker or a Snow Global, etc. in expert, then we don't go max overpower. With any other type of wind with 11 or less, we go max overpower even if we have an Apocalypse level 5 which have 240 yards, the longest driver that we do have. Just so we are not making a smashing perfect drive on going to the sand trap because we're using too much overpower. That's a bit sad. No problem to fix the birdie, but a bit sad. If we are in Master, we're going to have higher wind than that, then I prefer that we should be going with around a wind that's going to be around 14 to 16 miles per hour, like a Berserker wind. Max overpower with that one, try to bounce over the rough as well. If we do that, then we do have the second shot in most likely going to be in 10 to 18 miles per hour wind, in tailwind. Then we need to use the Guardian for that shot, because we do need the Guardian's backspin and also the distance, because we do want to aim directly on the green. That shot is minus 10%, that shot is played uphill. So we need to subtract 10% from the wind. So you can hear there is a possibility to get in on green in 2, but it's still going to be insanely tough, even if we do have tailwind. First, the drive needs to be perfect. The second shot needs to be really good as well, and it's very hard to estimate with a 15 miles per hour tailwind with a Guardian, but that's why we're having the Guardian as well, so the maximum backspin can help us land that ball to green and just focus on getting the eagle. If you get an eagle, you're definitely going to have an advantage over your opponents, no matter what type of wind we're going to have. So, a lot of talk about the tailwind approach there. I do personally hope we're going to get some tailwind, not just because of course I get an advantage with my Apocalypse level 7, but mostly because otherwise that hole is going to be insanely boring, in my opinion. Hole at number 4, par 3, black line, par 3 on 138 yards. 3 lines to play with. Very interested here, how do we play it from T-box 1?
Well, from T-box 1, I really like the yellow line. The yellow line just makes the most sense to me. I know, looking at it on your iPhone or maybe even your TV, whatever, it looks like a very small area, but it's really easy to aim there. I would just bring the backbone. Aim just below that bunker, right where that yellow box is, and add 1 top spin to it. And for our wind adjustments, add an extra 10% once again. And from there, you should be able to aim directly at the pin, I believe. And this is a fairly easy shot for a hole-in-one. What do you think, Tom?
I agree, actually. The only thing to have in mind is that the green is uphill. So when it comes to playing this hole in headwind, we need to kind of think twice before we take our shots, so we're having enough topspin. The worst case scenario is that we're getting almost up to the pin and then falling back down and having an uphill putt. We should be making that putt, but it's like unnecessary when we can of course have a different type of situation. That's the only thing that I would say is hard with that one. This one. For second tee, we're playing with a long iron as well. The Goliath is preferred in my opinion. B52 could work as well. And we aim at where the black marker is. The first piece of fairway. That is because that piece of fairway is having a flat surface and giving ourselves a more consistent bounce. 10% extra as well as normal. If we play from 30, we're going to play with a wood club and we're going to play with a sniper, giving ourselves the ball guideline and of course the accuracy. Wind 5 ball is preferred in Master, but sure, power 3 ball, like wind 3 ball, like a Kingmaker, it's going to be a possible way to play as well. After this quick breakthrough for Pro Expert Master, I will have to agree with you, RJ, that it's definitely going to be an easy par 3. Sure, if we hit the great or good, yeah, then it's our own fault, but this should be a birdie. But in the end, we need to get that little bit lucky roll on the green if we're going to gain that hole in one. So it's not a gimme directly, just going in on hole on hole number 4. Wow, that was a long way to talk about that. Hole number 5. Par 4, 387 yards. I see this one as one of the best opportunities to make something extra. What do you think?
I agree, and I actually like two different ways of approaching this hole. You can bring your extra mile with 4 topspin, and okay, I have a little bit of right curl. I don't know what I did with my notes there. I'm sorry. But with the black line, you bounce right. You're going to bounce to the left side of the trees, being very careful not to land into the rough or take your ball into the water, which I've seen a lot of people do. That will bring you up for a nice straight shot across and having the fairway right there available to you. Another way you can attack this hole with the yellow line in rookie would be with a big topper, and then you would be jumping over the bunker and the rough. I would put a little bit of a left spin on the ball, as you don't want to end up in the rough on the right side then. However, if you make either of these two mistakes, if you do land in the rough, as long as you do it after your initial bounce, whether you have a shot, whether you took the black line or the yellow line, you should have a long enough rough iron to get you on the green. Now, that's not preferable because the line moves much faster, the accuracy is much lower, but don't feel like you just blew it. You can at least save the birdie if you do land either way, in the rough. However, I would also bring, if you do land on the fairway, which is the preferred method, that you bring an accurate club with a lot of backspin, and with that straight-on shot, I think you have an excellent opportunity at an eagle. What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, I think so. This is my one. Yeah, this is my favorite hole of the holes that we're going to play in this tournament, as I do feel that the approach to the pin is going to be not easy. Nothing is easy, but not that hard, at least, to get it around the cup and hopefully for an eagle. If we play from second tee, if having crosswind or tailwind, we play according to the black line. 3 to 4 bars of topspin, lining it up so we do have a short-footed thorn or the hornet. If we do have headwind, we play according to the yellow line. Try to use the topspin that we do have on our club. Most likely going to have to overpower our shot a little bit, but we do need to bounce over the rough and the bunker on the right. If we would be having such a strong headwind, I'm talking mostly in Master now, that we cannot do that much, then we should be playing according to the white line. And the white line is pretty new line for many, as it's a very conservative line. We do use 1 bar of topspin with our driver, playing the driver in medium distance of our club, putting ourselves to land where the first white mark. And that's going to, because that on that area, it's basically like a bowl. So you shoot it up on the fairway, it rolls back down and lays like in a hole, basically, on the fairway. So you're not going to risk going into the rough or into the sand at any point. And from that position, we're going to play with a sniper rough bump alongside the green, which is going to be a pretty decent opportunity for an eagle, especially if we do have such a hard wind that we're not going to feel comfortable going max overpower and risk a lot for our drive. We also need to add 10% extra for the first shot. That goes for every division, not just Master, but for every second shot. Nothing needs to be added. That also goes for the second shot according to the white line with the sniper approach. That you don't have to add anything there as well. So, but in my opinion, again, very good opportunity to make an eagle. Do not mess up the drive so you mess up the opportunity, because in this tournament you are not getting that many opportunities. So it's very, very valuable to have that shot on hole number 5. Hole number 6, and here I'm very restrictive with the lines here, because this is a very tough par 5. People playing right, left, and center here on this one, to be honest, and going all over the place. And very interesting to hear how we play from the front tee. So we start there.
All right. Well, just to rewind just for a quick second,
yep.
I forgot to mention for rookies, add 10% again. This gave me fits last tournament, and It's those height elevations. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Here on hole 6, I originally used the black line, and I had some troubles with it. So I was, in doing my homework, getting ready for this, I looked at the white line, and it just made so much sense. So I'm really a big fan of the white line. The white line with your extra mile and a power 3 ball. Kingmaker, I would say, is preferred to control the wind. However, a Titan will do. As premium balls, once again, for rookies. It's not something that we have a lot of. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to aim your target where that white box is, and because you don't have as much to jump over, you just have so much more control. The only thing that you're going to have to do here, though, is you're going to want to add 4 top spin, and you're going to want to put full left spin on this ball. And with the Kingmaker, you have 3 for left spin. With the Titan, you only have 2 for left spin. I think both will work fine. I don't think you really need to put any curl on it. If you have a Titan and you just have an inkling maybe to put like a, I don't know, 1/8 of a ball or 1/4 of a ball of left spin, I think you should still be safe. That should land your ball right where the black box is. We didn't need the power 3 ball for that. We needed the power 3 ball in case you came up just a little short of that black line for your second shot. With the big dog, you're going to want to drive that ball very far, which is why we want the distance, right before the bunker, and we're going to bounce over the bunker with 1 to 3 backspin, depending on the wind and and all your adjustments, whatever you feel comfortable with, to get you on the green in 2. And so yeah, definitely, I like the Kingmaker if you have them. If not, a Titan will do the job as well. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the tougher ones as well. Combined with hole 2, I think this is going to be the one that's going to give players the most trouble, actually, and mostly because of the drive. The drive needs to be on the fairway, otherwise we cannot reach for the green too. It's not possible, no matter what type of wind you're going to have. If we're having tailwind in Expert and Master, I'm going to say that quick, then we can take a power 5 ball, go full blast over power, clear everything, and put ourselves in the rough or in the sand, kind of close to the green, not at the green, but kind of close to the green, so we can at least reach for a rough iron. It would be boring with tailwind, honestly, on this one, because that takes all the fun out of it. But in my book, fun is headwind or crosswind. That's fun for me. That's why I'm referring to as fun. The thing we're going to do is that we're going to follow the black line for Pro, Expert, and Master. We do not have the distance to reach according to the first white marker there. So we're going to first and foremost add 20%. And that goes for Rookie as well for the drive. We need to add that to our adjustment for the elevation. And then we use, if we do have tailwind, we do use 3 to 4 bars of topspin bouncing down there. 3 bars of side spin to the right is preferred as well, as for the fairway is sloping a little bit to the left. If we do have headwind, we're going to go full topspin, no matter how much topspin we're having, full topspin. Crosswind, we're going to go with 5 to 6 bars of topspin if we do have that much. Otherwise, we go with max topspin if we do have on our driver. And that will potentially put ourselves up with the second black marker. The ultimate position for our ball is to be on the top right corner by the rough. Then we're going to have no problem to bounce over the rough and the bunker alongside the green and be very close to the pin. If we for some reason go short, we might having a strong headwind. Then we need to bounce over the rocks on the right. There are like, I'm actually going to zoom in so you can, I don't know if you can see the rocks, but just here in the center, there is a, rocks in the middle of that fairway. We need to bounce over that one, aim up so we do land very close to the green for a very close and easy wedge. That's a conservative way to secure the eagle, so we're not pushing it too hard and get into the sand trap by using my overpower, sometimes a lot of overpower, and that's tougher in my opinion, play from the sand trap than playing with a short wedge. Big dog, cataclysm important, power 3 ball important, second shot as well, slightly uphill, -5% if you're using any form of calculator, but otherwise we do subtract 5% for our adjustment. So, hole number 7, now we do have 3 more holes to go, 1 par 4, 1 par 3, and 1 par 5. Hole number 7, how do we play that one?
Let me get this out of the way first since I'm so forgetful. 10%, 10%, guys, 10% on this particular hole. I like we got to use a quasar, guys. I know I like keeping it cheap. I like keeping it as simple as possible, but I feel like we are going to need some of that side spin and the quasar. Does quasar have power 1? I can't remember. Correct. I think it does. Correct. Yes. Okay, so that's another added benefit. I'm going to go with the extra mile, and we're going to be taking the black line here. With the extra mile, we are going to bounce over, and this is where we need that side spin, because once again, we have those rocks that Tommy just showed you, but in front of those rocks is sand, and we need to stay away from the sand. However, you see where his second black box is. It's right in the middle of the sand and the rough, so it's kind of a tough shot. It's very precise. So I'm going to say go with full left curl. You should be using around 4 or more bars of topspin, I would say, on your extra mile, because you have room up top. I would just say full topspin, but I mean, if someone brings a big topper, they could be in trouble. But yes, we definitely are going to be going on the left side, which is the black line. And as long as we don't end up in the rough or the snow, we're going to have a really nice shot that should be able to get us on the green for our second shot. And this isn't quite as far as the other approaches that we took where we needed the big dog. If you left the big dog in, that's fine. You can still use it. I would still recommend a big dog, but you can also use a Viper, which Vipers are generally going to be more accurate and give you a little bit more backspin as well. However, we're only going to be using about 1 to 3 backspin to get over that sand trap and stick us on the green. I think this is definitely a birdie hole. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree totally. Birdie hole, sure, possible for an eagle, but we'll see what type of wind we're going to have. But we're going to play black line in all the cases for pro and expert. Doesn't matter if I have crosswind, tailwind, headwind, we're going to play according to the black line. And we bounce ourselves with that max side spin. Side spin 2 or 3 ball is preferred. Like Titan, Kingmaker, Katana, and then we put ourselves alongside the bunker, and then we approach the green exactly like bouncing before the bunker, etc. I want to cover a little bit according to the white line, and the white line is mostly for pro and expert. Sorry, for expert that do have a high headwind. Let's say we do have an 8, 9, 10 miles per hour headwind. And also in Master that is going to have at least a 10 mile per hour headwind with a Kingmaker or like a dead ball, a power 4 ball. Then we need to play according to the white line. We bounce ourselves straight up using 5 bars of topspin. We might have to overpower our shot, but it's better to overpower than using more topspin. Because more topspin will put ourselves in the rough on the other side, like on the top of the second white marker. So for the second shot there, we're going to go with a club that do give us a lot of curl. I would prefer the big dog or the cataclysm there to curl it around. And just to say that as well, if we play left side, I already mentioned that big dog or Viper for rookie. I would say sniper is totally enough. Also guardian could be working for pro and expert. We do have enough distance with those clubs from the left side. But right side, then it's big dog or cataclysm, because we're most likely not going to have enough distance, combined with that we do need the curl for the second shot. 10% extra, absolutely. Then we're going to have no... I don't think this is going to be a problem, but I remember last time we played this one in Master, had like an 11 miles per hour straight headwind in our face. And we had such a hard time to hit that shot perfect because we had to overpower our shot. And that sucks. Hole number 8. It's for pro and expert and master. At least for pro and expert is the guardian time. But I'm very interested to hear how we play this one from the front tee, because now we're actually not playing this one with a wood club, right?
Correct. I have a long iron, and I don't have a specific long iron just in case you don't have a lot of backspin on your backbone and you were lucky enough to get some epic or something that does have a lot of backspin, but most people are going to be using the backbone. You're going to want to land your ball right about where his black box is. And remember, there's like a horseshoe type hill on the background. So what we need to do is we need to counteract that hill a little bit so we don't go rolling too far away from the hole. And in doing that, we're going to be using the 4 backspin, first of all, to stabilize our ball and get it to stop a little bit sooner. With the Marlin, I would say use full right spin. If you do decide to use a Quasar or a better ball, I would still probably go full right spin. Tommy, please correct me if I'm wrong, just to try to counteract that hill that's going to push us down, as we don't want a really long putt. But as far as it goes, that's where I like the black line with 4 backspin. Yep. What say you? Oh, and yeah. 10% downhill.
10%. Remember that. That is correct. And also I want to just, like you said, if I'm going to correct you or not, you are right with that we want to prevent the ball from rolling too far away from the pin. But the more side spin we do have to the right, the more up to that hill we're going to come. So we need to find a balance there, that we're not, let's say we have a wind left to right, then we would be good with going with some side spin to the right to just get as a straight line as possible towards the green. But if we have a left to right wind, then we're not going to go any side spin to the right at all. Because the higher up we come to the hill there, the more speed we're going to have falling down towards the pin, and the harder putt we're going to have afterward. But I can honestly say that even if we roll to the end of the green on the other side, it's still going to be a very short putt. It looks long, but it's going to be very short. Prone Expert, second tee, we're going to play with the Guardian, and this is the reference we're going to use. If we do have headwind, max backspin, having the white ring just touching the bunker on the bottom. If we do have crosswind, max backspin, having the blue ring just touching the bunker in the bottom. If we're having tailwind, we're having the red ring just cutting the bunker in the bottom, 10% extra, then we're going to be very, very close to the hole, if not in. This is going to be one of the holes that we're going to see people dropping a couple of hole-in-ones for sure. I hope I will be the one and none of my opponents. So but we can all dream, right? So it's other than that, there isn't that much more to do here. So yeah, I would say, like, if you do have like a ball with more wind resistance, that could be good to play with, especially in Master. And also, oh shit, sorry, language. Master, Master as well. If we do have headwind, we play with a rocket directly on the green with max backspin, wind fireball. If we do have some kind of crosswind / tailwind in some form, then we're going to have to play it on, according to the white line, we play it with the sniper 1-on-1 adjustment. That means 1 ring per mile per hour. So if we do have 10 miles per hour, we'll play 10 rings. Important. That's an easy adjustment for that one as well. Just so we covered that as well, to going into hole number 9, par 5, where everyone is going to drop a condor. No, nothing. But hopefully an albatross or 2, but at least an eagle. So how do we play hole number 9?
Absolutely. And once again, I hate doing this to you, but if we could just rewind 1 second to what you said on hole 8. I absolutely love that you can dial in these shots to where you tell us, put the blue ring here and then do this and that, because it works. Yeah. And I wanted to say, you know, the advantage of listening to the shots that you're saying. Now, I know I sound like a fanboy or whatever, but when I take notes, it is so awesome to be able to, you know, I think last tournament we had, I was supposed to put like my orange ring in like a shadow on the left-hand side from the trees, and wouldn't you know, I got the hole-in-one. So in your notes, it's just so important. Anytime he gives you a reference point, I would highly recommend using it, because if it doesn't get in the hole, you're going to have a really easy putt. Anyway, going back to hole 9, sorry about that.
No, thank you.
I like the black line, and let me tell you why. It's definitely a harder drive. But the harder drive is what enables, as he was saying, the condor or the albatross, because with a sniper, if you're lucky enough to have that in any of the divisions, from rookie all the way up to, pro, that's just for whatever reason it goes in. I remember hitting this shot. However, we're sticking with rookie here, and I want to give you guys that same opportunity, but with lower level clubs. So therefore, we're going to be using the extra mile with the black line and a Kingmaker or a Katana. I'd like to have the power 3 ball in there, but we can definitely do this with the power 2 ball. The thing that's important is the 3 side spin. We're going to go with 3 right side spin because, let's face it, our extra miles shouldn't have that much curl on them, and curl is blind. When we put curl on, it doesn't change our ball guide at all, so this way we kind of have an inkling of where our ball's going to end up. We're going to kind of jump over the rough, the little corner of the sand that you see there, with the full right spin, and, maybe you might feel like you want to put a little bit of curl on that just to stay away from make sure that you're not ending up in the rough. Then our second shot comes along. We as rookies may need a big dog with a power 3 ball even if we don't get high enough up. If we get high enough up, maybe we could use a Viper. Tommy can tell me, whether I'm right or wrong. Or even if you have a low-level sniper, possibly. I don't know, maybe if you have a Berserker, if you want a golden shot or something, that could definitely be a way to go. And then a safer way to go that I'm not really a huge fan of would be the white line. If you take that white line, guys, you got to have a power 5 ball, and you've got to have the big dog. So this is a more cost-effective way of being able to use that pad to get you your albatross.
Yeah, to add to that with the Viper, I would say big dog for rookie if you have it on the right side. Sure, we do have a power 3 ball, but the risk of that we overuse side spin, overuse curl is very that risk is high in all the divisions, not just rookie. But then we in some cases going to cut the rough just after the bunker. Sure, we're going to roll out on the fairway, but then we're going to lose enough distance. So to just make it safer for us, or at least not putting the pressure on us that we need to clear everything, make an absolute beautiful drive when we play, then it's better to go with a big dog, in my opinion. But you decide yourself, but at least I wanted to add that now when you left over the question to me there. So for Pro and Expert, we're playing according to the black line. Master, we play black line as well. Only reason we wouldn't be playing according to black line if in headwind in Master. Then we cannot clear the bunker and the rough. Then we need to play according to white line, and then we can't reach for the green in 2. I think at least it's going to be tough, very tough from 30. But so I'm going to drop that a little bit and focus on the right side there. I will, when the tournament starts, be able to pinpoint exactly how you're going to adjust this depending on the wind, because the curl in the end and the side spin is going to be slightly different depending on the angle of the wind. But as a normal and standard way, we go with as much side spin as possible to the right. We are using 3 to 5 bars of topspin depending on the strength and the wind. Having headwind 5 bars, tailwind 3 bars, crosswind 4 bars. And then it comes to the end. If I have wind left to right, we're going to just use a tiny bit of curl to the right, as the wind is still going to push us combined with the side spin. If we do have wind left to right, the first example was right to left, now it's left to right. If we do have left to right, then we're going to curl it in the wind, then we need to go with 1 ball outside the adjustment ring to the right. And then headwind, crosswind, we need to go with just half a ball outside the adjustment ring to the right, as a base reference. Then of course that's going to be tweaked now when we know if I have wind like northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast, etc. Power 3 ball, and then we're going to adjust. The first shot is going to be 5% extra. Those 5% is actually going to be important, that we're going to aim close to the rough. Second shot minus 10%, and that means we're playing uphill. And that also means for those that are not going to have a calculator with them, you're going to subtract 10% from the original wind and adjustment you're going to do. So, and then albatross, boom. No, but at least we do have an opportunity for it. I see And I can just end with, in my opinion here, I see as a par score on this tournament, it's going to be -11. Hole 3 is not an eagle hole in general, so we're going to see higher scores than the recent tournaments that we have been having. And I hope that the game makers is not going to give us a bunch of tailwind on some of the holes that we can potentially drive very close to the green. I hope we're going to see some headwind and some crosswind, so we have to struggle a little bit with our adjustments. So what will we say, RJ? What do we think? Having a wind score around -24 to 27 approximately?
Yes, absolutely. You're going to have probably that, which hole was it? That last par 3. You talked about hole in one once or twice there, and then getting an albatross here is where I think a lot of people are going to make up, a stroke or two to bring home the top 3 positions.
Yeah, I think hole 5 as well, that par 4 with the, I think also is going to be an opportunity there. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We'll see in the morning. I'm going to start directly in the morning when the qualifying round starts. I'm going to be there playing rookie and pro. If Amelia allows me, then I'm going to play expert as well. Otherwise, I'm going to have expert and master during the evening. That I will have as well. Going to stream Monday, Tuesday. Not going to stream the Wednesday. I'm going to stream Thursday, Friday, and probably Saturday and Sunday as well. So you were playing 3 accounts this tournament, right?
Yes, I'm actually going to be bringing my mini account down from expert back to pro by popular demand. I've also started a rookie account, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, because it just seems like there's a need for that. And of course, my expert, I'm not really teaching on my expert account. I'm just playing. That's like my fun account. So
yeah, that's nice.
Gonna be having fun.
Yeah, and of course we're going to have a lot of fun. There is more like streamers out there in the community that are going to stream. Fun and James, Jesse, Brad, Helios, Neo, Juan, Cam, I think is going to stream as well, which is awesome. Yeah, and sorry for those that I maybe missed, but there is a lot of them out there, and that makes me so extremely happy, because there is something for everyone. So give them all, not just those that I mentioned, but every single one that is putting their time in, streaming, making content, actually helping you out, being a better player in the game. Give them some love, subscribe to their channel, and just enjoy yourself during the festive tournament here that is coming up. So I will leave it over to you, RJ. How do we end it here on our channel, my channel?
Happy stroking, guys.
Happy stroking.